Hello and welcome to the StopDevaluation podcast. I'm your host and founder of the StopDevaluation movement, Melody Hilton. The heart of this movement is to see the value in all of humanity and live courageous lifestyles of using our power for good instead of harm. We can affect change by choosing validation over judgment, and I hope you'll take your place and make a positive impact in this world. The old adage of sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me is false. Perverted actions and negative words will generate fear and cause shame, especially within the mind of a child. These hurtful lies promote a false adaptation of oneself in order to survive. David Gonzalez, growing up in Ecuador and later moving to the United States, shares his story of hiding his embarrassment through isolation and separation. Welcome, everyone, to the StopDevaluation movement My Story interview. And today I have the honor to introduce you to David Gonzalez. Thank you for joining me, David.
Hi, Dr. Mallory. Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, I'm so excited to hear your story. Would you be willing to share with us some ways in which you felt devalued or dehumanized, shamed, or just treated in ways that were inappropriate, that hurt your heart?
Sure, of course. I have definitely like three events that happened before the age of 18 that I could say were traumatic events
Mm.
that if my life would have turned a different path, uh, perhaps I wouldn't even be here talking to you. But one of the things that happened very early on was when I was about 9 years old. I went with my family to this farm where they had horses and sheep and all these animals. And I always been very curious. So I just ditched my family and I went to see where the horses sleep, the stables. And I went by myself. And I remember that I was just looking at the horses and there was a man there, very shady character. I don't know if he took care of the horses or not, but for what I can remember is that I had a small conversation with him, and when I was finished talking to him, I turned to the horses. When I turned back, he had pulled down his pants, and I
Oh,
instantly just started running away. Thankfully, I was able to escape, and I was too young to understand what kind of was happening around me. Later on, I came to the understanding that I was almost raped,
wow.
and I was just so thankful that I didn't occur, but I still wrote some sort of like distrust and shame inside of me. I didn't tell that story to anybody till probably
Wow.
5 years ago, and that was one of the things that I could say very early on that really like marked my life with shame.
Wow.
Later on in life, one of the things that took place was about my academics and how I thought of myself as an intelligent or as a dumb person. And what actually took place is that I'm originally from Ecuador, South America, and they have something called a sabatina, which is like an honors type of ceremony where they have the students perform in different subjects. So I remember the subject that I was supposed to perform was just writing different words that were difficult in the Spanish language in front of everybody in the board, in front of all the teachers, the parents, the students. And it was very comforting. I just stood up, I went, and they told me to write this word, and I just wrote the word. And I don't know if you know, but Spanish has like these punctuation marks that
Mm-hmm.
they're very complicated. So I just forgot to put this punctuation mark, and when I went back to my seat, my teacher corrected me, and he told me to fix it. So I completely fixed it. I didn't really feel bad or anything. But what actually really marked me was when I went home. My dad said something very hurtful. He told me, "I cannot believe one of my sons will have done such a dumb mistake in front of everybody in the
Oh
school."
my.
So that's something that really, really got deep into my heart. I didn't cry or anything, but I I remember from that day on, I just started thinking of myself as somebody that wasn't intelligent, as somebody that
Mm.
brought shame into the family. And I don't think I ever got an A after that till I got to high school in the United States. So that brings me to my third, the third chapter of my life before turning 18, which was actually when we had to move to United States. And it happened the day right after 9/11. My entire house was completely robbed from everything that we had, absolutely everything. I mean, even the covers that we used to sleep with, they were stolen by these bandits that we never found out who they were or whatever. And it marked me because I was the older brother. I have a younger brother; he's 2 years younger, and I was basically babysitting him. And I decided to just go play soccer with him, with my friends, and I basically left the house unattended. So when I came back, everything was taken. Of course, at the time, I thought that it was my fault
Mm.
because I have been given like authority, to take care of the place. But then later on, I was thankful that I wasn't there. Probably I would have been killed or kidnapped. So, anyways, seeing something so unsafe in that magnitude, we used to live actually in a pretty good place, but my mother thought that it would be better for us to just have like a fresh start somewhere else. So
Mm.
the opportunity rose itself for us to travel to the United States. And then basically we had to just do a restart in our lives. I was 15 at the time, and we left friends and family behind. Just had to really start from scratch to make a living. But I am very thankful that that took place because it was exactly when I got here to the States that a lot of those traumas were actually healed by different people, different situations that took place that made me see how actually fortunate I was in life.
Wow, were
That
there any
first,
individuals that
yeah,
were used
yeah,
that helped
specifically,
you
yes,
overcome?
yes, definitely, definitely. I would say my one of my biggest heroes, if not the biggest, is my mom.
Mm.
My mom is this hardworking lady. I mean, my mom and my dad got separated when I was 15. So actually, we moved here just with my mom. She was a single mother, raised us all these years by herself, and she was just so always encouraging. I remember she couldn't speak 1 ounce of English, but she made herself understood. Doctor's appointments, I mean, you name it, everything. She just was my hero, and whenever I would think of myself as not able to do something or accomplish it, I just will think of her, and I will say, I mean, if she can do it, I can do it.
Oh.
So she's one of my biggest heroes, definitely.
Oh.
I mean, I saw other people, uh, specifically this guy called Eddie. I was like the shy kid in the group. Obviously, now that you heard everything I actually went through, I developed this very quiet personality. I wasn't outspoken at all. I was always very quiet person, and I don't know why this person saw in me. But he started saying that I was meant to lead people. I was meant
Mm.
to do all these great things. Um, I also had this history teacher in high school, and she actually told me, you know what? I think you should lead like the Latino club here at the high school. And I never understood these people because I was actually very quiet. I tried to stay out of the main scene.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say my mom and these two people, along with I got to a church and the pastor there. They have always been there, constant sources of encouragement to push me
Mm.
further and further. So I definitely, definitely thank those people so much because they really were able to take me out of my shell and really confront my past and overcome it.
David, it's really true that uh, individuals that see the amazing treasure that you hold have the ability to pull that out of you. And especially when you're young, there's this hunger for someone to see your value and your worth. And just like your father said some things that so deeply wounded you, others spoke potential, which began to bring healing to you.
Yeah, that is so true. I mean, this history teacher that I was talking to you about, I don't know, I would just do so much better. The more encouragement I will get from this
Mm-hmm.
lady, the better I will try to just like, like impress her, try to like repay that encouragement that I was receiving. So, I think I got 100,
Aw,
a 4.0 GPA in
wow.
that class. And that actually like, boosted my spirit. And I actually thought of myself, you know what? I think I am intelligent.
Yes, you are.
So definitely I thought that that lady has such an impact for me to, grow out of this shell that made myself think of myself, as a person that couldn't accomplish more, couldn't write. And I definitely thank that teacher so much for seeing value in me.
And did those individuals help to break the power of shame that overshadowed you?
Yes, I remember. I always would try to impress this high school teacher, and I remember one day I think I answered wrong once in one of her tests, and I felt so like I felt like a disappointment to her, not even to me or to my parents, but I felt like I had disappointed her, and I never will forget what she did. She was like, David, I cannot believe you. So she raised the 98 that I had, and just gave me 100. So I
No.
would just change my mood, and I will like have like a different, you know, perception of the whole situation, And I believe
Wow.
that was like so impactful to me, like how somebody would just scratch a small mistake and just tell you, hey, you are 100% valuable. That's the
Yes.
way I took it.
I tell you, and you think years after these things have happened, you look and you can see the impact they had on your life. And so, with that, I think those things affect us as a leader. And so, how do you generate value in others?
Well, afterwards, when I went to college, I started mentoring people. I started trying to help students that were having difficulty in any subject. So it became like kind of like a passion of me, a passion of mine to try to help students. That were I didn't think they were gonna make it. So one of the things I did a lot was tutoring. Uh, so that was one of the ways that at least in the educational area that I thought that I was lacking. I was actually help
Wow.
others see their value, in that area. I'm 33 today. I can say I probably have mentored more than 100 something people, young women, young men, to try to let them see the goal that they are before they are able to see it for themselves. That's one of
Oh,
the things I do. I'm also a minister. One of my passions is to just always remind people, you can do it. You are meant for more. You are able and capable. You are more powerful than you think. And it's funny, but now that I'm talking to you about this, I thought that one of my biggest weakness was to write, and
mm.
I'm in the middle of writing my first book because of what
Ah,
happened to me when I was little. I thought that I was never gonna be able to write anything. But now that I'm sharing my story, it comes to my mind that I am in the middle of writing my first book.
so here a young
Yeah.
man that struggled academically is writing his first book. How powerful is that? David, I am so blessed by your story and even your transparency in communicating things that really did mark you in a negative way that have been turned around. But before we close, is there anything that you feel that is very important for you to share with those listening?
I will say that all of us have a choice to make at the end of the day.
Mm,
Be persistent of the choices that you make today because your future truly depends on them, and do not let your past shape your future
there you
because
go.
all of us carry baggage with us, and if we let that baggage define our future, then we are definitely doomed. But if we constantly remind ourselves that the choices that we personally make can define that future, then we definitely have the future in our hands.
Well, thank you so much for being one that helps to rewrite others' stories by seeing their values, seeing their worth, and causing them to know that they are powerful enough to choose a better future than their past. Thank you so much, David. So honored to have you.
Thank you, Dr. Mallory.
I want to thank you for listening and encourage you to become a part of the StopDevaluation movement. Be sure to like and follow #StopDevaluation on social media, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and visit StopDevaluation.com for more information and free resources. You can help spread the movement by sharing with others, leaving a review on Apple Podcasts, and most of all, by living a courageous lifestyle of using your power for good. Go out and value someone today. Your life matters, and you can make the world a better place. One word, one choice, one action of validation at a time.